Clinical Monday, the best way to begin a healthy week. It's a good morning to you and yours, and thank you so much for joining us, and welcome to yet another exciting episode of this edition. My name is Vika Kosi, and as usual, behind the scenes, taking care of other things is Happy Kaleng, and today, back by popular demand, courtesy of Dent X Quarters, we are back to dissect yet another clinical topic, and I am joined by, is there a second time, hopefully not second last. Okay, the English will not be with me, but second edition, no second time. We need to have more second times. That's what I meant, and they're here to help us dissect this one. It is Dr. Makahla. And yeah, man, we're excited for this. Make sure that you are part of the conversation. Continue liking, continue sharing, continue commenting on our Facebook page, also on YouTube, and anywhere else. Just look for Pop in Health. Dr. Makahla, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Great. We spoke the last time. We were looking at dental health, and I think for this conversation we are shifting it a bit and looking at STIs, because during that conversation STIs came through and you shocked us because we did not know that even oral health can show or indicate that one can have an STI. For this edition we are looking at hepatitis or HSV1 and HSV2 and its connection, perhaps maybe if there is, with HIV. Let's start it from here. So what is herpes and the different types? What are the difference between herpes simplex virus type 1 and type 2?
So herpes simplex virus type 1 and type 2, these are viruses of the same family. They are the main types that we normally speak about. The main differences about them is their site of infection, their usual site of infection, their recurrence, and also the shedding of the virus, right?
Yeah.
You normally find herpes simplex virus type 1 infecting the mouth or the lips, causing cold sores or blisters, and then you normally find herpes simplex virus type 2 around the genital areas or the anus or the surrounding areas. So that's normally typically their site of infection. Yes.
Okay, and I mean, many people think that herpes only affects genitals, but like you just said now, that's not always the case, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's not always the case in the fact that HSV1 and HSV2, because for as much as they are in the same family, they have different viruses. In their symptoms, they share similar symptoms, but I think typically the site of infection, right? But also, for example, HSV1 typically infects the lips or the mouth and the surrounding areas, right? So on the lips, normally the infection comes through skin-to-skin contacts or bodily fluids, when people are kissing each other, right? Saliva is passed on to the next person, and then that's where the infection site, the infection occurs, and then the virus itself now will enter through skin-to-skin contact with bodily fluids, and then will infect the trigeminal nerve, right? And then it will travel and stay on the ganglion of the trigeminal nerve, and then it will stay inactive on that site, and then it keeps on. There are normally certain triggers that will trigger it, and then that's when you see the symptoms of cold sores or blisters around the mouth. So that's HSV1.
No, you didn't. I'm still with you. I'm still following. And I mean, I want to ask how common it is in South Africa, because it is true that most people would have herpes, but don't have visible sores. So you said sometimes it will trigger, and then you have the visibility showing, but sometimes it's not the case.
Yes. So a lot of people have HSV1 in South Africa. estimated about 80% of the population does have HSV1, of which normally we recommend to our patients that they should disallow family members to do mouth-to-mouth medicines, right? As we know that that's how it is transferred to the next person, right? So about 80% of the population does have HSV1. Then with HSV2, they say 40% or more, according to research. I think we can get the numbers. They say 40% or more people have HSV2. But then, like I said, and also as we mentioned as well, that many people are not showing the symptoms. But they do have it.
Should you, I mean, this obviously would be a recommendation that people go and actually get it checked out, you know, and not wait for presenting symptoms. Because, I mean, 80%, that's a lot. So people should get it checked out.
People should get it checked out, especially HSV2. Because it doesn't show symptoms, a normal person wouldn't just wake up and say, hey, let me go check if I've got HSV1. The cause or symptom. Probably when you have them, you know at some point in your life it's going to present. You see? And the moment you have it once, even if you never have it again, you have it. Even if you have it once in your life,
you have it.
You see?
Yes.
Then it's different, of course, in the case of HSV2, whereby now it's affecting the genital areas, because normally when people suffer such symptoms, then it's a worry. So those are the normal people who go check it out. You see, because it's affecting the genital areas of the anal area.
Some people would think, and I mean, especially with the visibility in terms of oral health or their mouth, or you know, especially with sores, they will say it's not it. They will be on some maybe it's a sore that shows that I have flu. Or I don't know, sinus, I don't know what else causes sores on the mouth, but they will not say it could be herpes. Perhaps maybe are the sores different in the way they present, or as long as it's a sore, it's herpes.
The thing is that normally we find that people have got flu, and then flu becomes the trigger that activates the virus and for it to show its symptoms. So normally that's what happens, and then I mean we know over time it's been called a cold sore, you know, and as much as it is also related to the herpes simplex virus, you see, it's more than it is related to the flu virus.
And I mean if it's like that, sometimes it goes away. It doesn't mean that it doesn't have I don't want to say strength, but it's not as strong as it supposedly is supposed to be.
The duration of the outbreak, so to say, it really mostly depends on the immunity of the individual, right? And also, so it depends on the immunity of the individual and also the recurrence. You find out that some people it appears twice in a lifetime, others once, others each and every 6 months it reappears. So it normally depends on the immunity of the individual.
Can food trigger it? I mean, you spoke about it being dormant at some point and then it's triggered by other things. Can food or things that you consume trigger it, or you just have to, it can be triggered by an illness? Let's say somebody has just, you know, discovered that they're HIV positive, that could, because of virus in the body, that could trigger
Yes. I can say food triggers it, or let me just say lack of nutrition thereof, right? Because that's when now, if you lack this deficiency in nutrition, then of course that affects your immune system. Then now it's easy for HSV1 to be triggered or HSV2 to be triggered, right? And also we know that in the case of HIV, that HIV it opens the doorway for opportunistic infection because it suppresses your immunity, right? So you would find that with people who are HIV positive, and also especially people who are not on their treatment, that the outbreaks of HSV1 and HSV2 are more, and also the duration, the duration of it is more, and also the severity as well, right?
Yeah.
Because as much as it can, on some individual, it can be just pimples, or blisters that heal quickly.
Yeah.
It can be severe, whereby it can even be ulcers that are painful, you see, that are easy, you see. So, yeah.
I got you. What are some of the questions that you have when it comes to herpes 1 and 2? Because I'm thinking a lot of us will think it's just flu, but you can find that it is not. And do you think, where is your knowledge, especially when it comes to that? Please share your comments with us on the comment section below. We are live on our Pope's Facebook page, and Dr. Magada is answering those questions. Now let's go back to, we touched on the lack of nutrition or deficiency in that sense, and sometimes you can be prone to other diseases, infections. Just talk about somebody that is dealing with a form of an STI and has either herpes 1 or 2. How does it affect treatment? Are you treating one? Should both be treated? The STI, either HIV or any other, and herpes, or you're looking at treating one and not in duality? That's the right English. Yeah.
No, I think dual treatment is always the best, but the research has shown that normally, for example, for people who are living with HIV, that the moment that they are on medication, heart medication, that normally the viral, it suppresses the HIV viral load, and thus it also affects HSV2, for example, or HSV1 in a positive manner, just that the reoccurrence is low, the duration is shorter, and the severity is also lessened as well.
Yeah.
You see. So in that case, treating one, for example, on HIV, if you are on the treatment for HIV, then it's gonna affect the herpes simplex virus in a positive manner.
Gotcha.
But treating herpes simplex virus 1 or 2 doesn't necessarily mean that you see.
Yeah.
So
I got you.
So dual treatment, that's what I always recommend. Dual treatment. That means that you need to be on your antiretrovirals, and also you need to be on antiviral medication for the HPV. Right.
Got you. And we spoke about immunity, that sometimes these viruses affect immunity, and then people will have opportunistic infections. But let's speak about, I think you touched on a person who's HIV positive and then has herpes, and how that, in terms of back and forth and treating one or treating them both. Can herpes be cured, especially with somebody that is living with HIV, or maybe perhaps even they're not, but can it be cured?
No, it cannot be cured. It's a lifetime infection.
Yeah.
But it can be managed. It can be managed reasonably. So, it can be managed. We do have antiviral medication that we do deal with to people who have HPV1, for example. I know normally we give acyclovir for people who have frequently recurrent symptoms, cold sores. So, but it's a lifelong.
Can you transmit it if you don't show symptoms? I think we answered this, but let's go back to it. I think I missed it.
Yes, you can transmit it even though we are not showing symptoms, and this happens by a process called shedding, whereby the virus is laying active on the surface of the skin, and then it is transmissible because of that.
Hectic. Can daily antiretroviral medication help lower the risk of passing it on?
Yes, it can. It can. According to what I researched, I think to 50%, especially if you take it on a daily basis. So it does reduce the effects of passing on. On HSV1, outbreaks, that's when your blisters are more visible, and your ulcers, especially on the genital areas. So HIV virus, of course, is very transmissible during those stages. Right. So
So how many times should one get tested? Well, not how many times, but how frequent should one check themselves? I mean, in terms of HIV, when we think that we have it, we go to the doctor immediately to check it out.
Yes.
And obviously it's behavioral sometimes. So how often or when should one in their life at least check if they have HIV?
I think like that is why the annual visits to your general practitioners are important. I think they advise up to 2 visits per year, or a minimum of 1 every year. So during that checkup, you want to check for everything. You want to check for everything. So that's what I would recommend, that people have the annual visits to their GP. Then they just check it.
And if you're on treatment for treating herpes, don't leave the treatment if you don't see it.
Don't leave the treatment, but also don't stop your annual visits.
I got you.
Don't stop your annual visits. Yes, the two go hand in hand.
I got you. I hope it's clear. You've got the message. Do not stop the treatment, but also get it checked out. Dr. Maganda, I don't have any other questions. In closing, it's December, it's the festive season. We are going home. We are going to not forget really about taking care of ourselves. But for people out there to not catch this, because I think prevention is better than cure.
Yes.
At some point, what are the things that maybe one can be in the lookout for or do to not catch? Because sometimes you don't see if a person has HIV.
Exactly. I mean, for HSV1, for example, it's hard to not to catch, especially if you're gonna be kissing a lot of people. So I mean, I think it's almost law by now that people should have one sexual partner, not have multiple sexual partners, especially adults. You wanna be kissing one person, and also another one which I don't hear so frequently now. Condomize. Condomize. And also I would like to make sure that there's we lay out distinct difference between being infected with HSV2 and having and being infected with HIV. Right? Those are two different things. Just because you have one doesn't mean you have the other, right?
Got you.
But also they say that normally people with HSV2, normally you find that they've also got infected with HIV virus, right? So the moment you are infected, you do have symptoms of HIV2, blisters, or ulcers around your genital areas. You don't want to go say, hey, I want to come check if I've got herpes simplex virus too. Also, check for HIV as well. And also, just because you have HIV, you're positive, it does not mean that you have herpes. You see? But if you have herpes, make sure you check that first.
Let's take care of ourselves this December and make sure that we are looking after our health, because that is also important. We want to see you here 2026 all in good health. But with that said, Dr. Maganda, thank you so much for making time for us. Really appreciate it, and thank you for tuning in. We'll see you on the next one as we dissect yet another clinical topic. From me, Ulangosi, until the next episode. Keep streaming. Bye.
Then we need to do another part.